Well, back here on NFL Live, Dan Graziano has an article up. You can check it out on ESPN.com. The best and worst free agent signings of 2017. We've gone through the top 5, Case Keenum being at the very top of that list. Sadly, there are 5 here that did not work out, and let's start and work our way down number 5.
I really liked the Brandon Marshall signing for the Giants when it happened. I thought they got him on a good deal. He wanted to stay in New York and be a good number 2 for Odell Beckham, but turns out absolutely nothing was going to go right for the Giants in 2017, and the Brandon Marshall signing was part of that. 2 years, $11 million, $5 million guaranteed. He caught 18 passes for 154 yards and no touchdowns, and like almost everyone else on the Giants, ended up on injured reserve.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like, especially that red zone target, get a lot of balls, 50-50 balls in the red zone, but unfortunately didn't happen. Like you said, 18 catches. Huge disappointment this year. A
little unfair, though. I mean, I feel like they're not a free agent. You could just put the Giants on the list here. It's hard to.
I think we've probably done some segments on how disappointing the Giants.
They've been in the dark multiple times this year. Yeah.
Okay, Luke Joeckel.
The Seahawks guaranteed Joeckel $7 million for 1 year, so it's not a killer contract going forward, but just kind of the symbol of the continued problems on the offensive line there, which were a big part of the story for Seattle for what seems like the 3rd or 4th year in a row. They end up making the trade for the left tackle during the season, but never really got a run game together, and they always seem to be after the Band-Aid solution on the offensive line, and it felt like Joeckel was another attempt at that didn't work out.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily about him, individually, but more so the bigger picture that their offensive line just seems like year after year they just stink. And the fact that he was a high draft pick, so people want to look at that and say, this didn't work out at all.
You always have a
played better at guard than he has at tackle. Yeah. And that's really what he is.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, Dan?
Number 3, I went with Martellus Bennett, the tight end for the Packers. Anybody remember Martellus Bennett as a Packer? I don't know that many will. But they went and got him to help, create a dynamic offense around Aaron Rodgers. And 3 years, $21 million, only 6.3 guaranteed, but really didn't perform, and obviously an ugly end to the situation there with issues with did he want out? He ended up in New England. He ended up on injured reserve. Clearly a signing that did not work out.
Yeah, this was not the right fit for the Packers, even though it looked great at the time because he's athletic and he can run, but it did not really fit their system. It didn't fit their culture. It was one of those free agent signings where be careful what you wish for because there are more things that count than just what you see on the film.
All right, Dan, weighing in at number 2, the worst free agent signings.
Number 2, another pass catcher who ended up on the Patriots. This is very strange, but Kenny Britt, the Cleveland Browns signed Kenny Britt. They let Terrell Pryor go, who had success there. They replaced him with Britt. 4 years, $32.5 million, 10.5 guaranteed. He caught 18 passes and dropped 4 for 233 yards in 9 games with Cleveland before they cut him. I mean, during the first year of your 4-year deal, you get cut. That is a team saying, hey, man, this didn't work out. He ends up in New England as their latest kind of late season, flyer reclamation project, but obviously not a guy that helped out the Browns.
Well, he ended up in New England because he went to Rutgers. So that's
right.
Rutgers Alumni Association there. He doesn't run well at all. He's not a consistent catcher. There really isn't a lot more you can say other than whoever made that decision behind a computer in Cleveland didn't look at any film.
And it's conceivable that person doesn't work there anymore. The Browns.
It's possible.
If he does, he shouldn't.
I looked this up in my research. The Browns did not win a single game all season.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I can confirm that happens to be the case. Dumpster fire, they sort of just had a permanent. They took out
this is a whole group of dumpsters.
Yeah, this is all right. And so I don't want to say drum roll because it's not really where you want to be, but the top of the list.
Always a quarterback at the top of the list, right? Mike Glennon, Chicago Bears. They guaranteed him $18.5 million. He played 4 games. Mitch Trubisky took over. Now, they didn't, I don't think, know they were going to draft Mitch Trubisky when they made this signing. But obviously the fact that he only lasted 4 games before losing his job to a rookie makes that look like money that was not especially well spent.
They viewed him as a bridge. It turned out to be a very small bridge.
Yeah. It's like a pebble. That's just like stepping over a pebble to get to the other side.
Exactly right. It was not a bridge over Lake Michigan, that's for sure. So it cost them a little more than they wanted to, but the theory was correct. Unfortunately, that bridge didn't get completed, and the Public Works is now in charge of our man Trubisky.
All right, so how about this, Bill? Because, you know, our work is never done here. The most sought-after free agents out there this time around. Who'll make one of these lists next year?
Well, it's a law firm. It's the law firm of Keenum and Cousins.
Oh.
Both guys, quarterbacks who have performed reasonably well. Cousins Keenum remarkably, exceptionally well, and Cousins reasonably well. They can lead a team. They've got what you're looking for. You don't know until 3 weeks from now whether or not Keenum can take you all the way, but he's taken you far enough. Cousins had never gotten that far, but for a team that needs, like Cleveland, for example, that needs a professional quarterback, these guys fit the bill.
Did you look that up, too? Cleveland needs a quarterback?
They do.
They do. All right. Confirmed.
A professional quarterback, not a fledgling.
Not just a body.
No, not some foundling that comes
more
in
than
off
a
the
pulse,
street.
Bill Polian.
Right.
More than a pulse. 15 teams, by the way, will have at least $35 million in cap space
Bill's
this
on one
offseason.
today.
He's on fire.
Right, that's right.